Professor Michael Dovres, welcome to Mohammed bin Rashid School of Government, and thank you very much for your contribution today to our distinguished speaker series.
Thank you.
I would like to start my questions by asking you about administrative reform. Administrative reform has always been an issue for governments around the globe. So what do you see are the main drivers for reform at the time being?
In general, the main driver for reform is the criticism on government that always exists, because government has collective goods, provides collective goods for everybody, for the benefit of everybody, and everybody has to contribute to those goods. And then people start to complain. I contribute too much, or it's not done efficiently, or I could have done it better, or it's too late and too slow. So government is always criticized by the people because it is there for the people. Nowadays, the main problems vary all over the world. In the developed world, in the OECD, the problems are the financial crisis. So government has to downsize because it doesn't have the money anymore to sustain such a large governmental apparatus. In Africa, the main problem is capacity building, because many governments, especially local governments, don't have the capacity to deliver the goods that are needed for the people in order to get education, in order to reduce poverty, etc. In the emerging markets like Brazil or India, things are going very well, but still government wants to improve because people say you need to improve because you're a government. It's inherent to government that you need to improve. Many leaders and managers think they are in control. First of all, in control of their organization, and that their organization is in control of their environment. While in fact, it's the other way around. You have a context, a very specific context, whether you are in a developing country or a developed country. Whether you are in Africa or in Asia or in Latin America, makes a huge difference. That context determines what kind of organization you can build. And the type of organization you can build determines what kind of leader you need. So it's really the opposite of what people mostly think, that leaders steer their organization, that steers the environment. It's the other way around. The environment steers what kind of organization can be built, steers what kind of leadership is needed. And that implies that context is very important, and that you cannot just transfer one policy out of one context into another policy in another context. And that's what the World Bank itself says also. It says, well, we need to take the context into account. And we discovered that. Well, for decades they said all governments, wherever in the world, they need to act like a business. They need to privatize, they need to be smaller, they need to downsize. Then they said, well, governments should act in terms of good governance, in processes. They should follow the rule of law, they should have democracy, they should have decentralization, they should have this and this and this everywhere. And now they say, well, it's indeed context matters, but we should change the context in order to make every context fit to build that same kind of government that we want. And that's impossible. We have seen the banking sector, which is often larger than the government sector, larger than the total gross national product of a country. And if they mess up, all people are hurt. All people in the country. And government is there to prevent that ordinary people are hurt by problems they cannot solve themselves and they cannot do anything about it themselves. So then you get a collective solution, and the only one who can provide such a collective solution is government. And we've seen too many disasters in the last years, especially in the banking sector, in the housing sector, especially in the Western world, that says we need a strong government.
Thank you, Doctor, very much for your contribution, and we look forward to more collaboration with you in the future.
Thank you for inviting me. It was nice to be here.
So today's lecture by Professor Michael Dovres has provided a comprehensive account on administrative reform worldwide. The speaker has touched upon different important issues in administrative reform. Looking at the Dubai experience, I think the Dubai government has already taken so many important steps towards improving the process of service delivery and towards improving the practice of public sector organizations. Looking at the very recent initiative by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed in relation to the smart government, so the initiative itself reflects so many reform elements in public administration and in the way that governments deliver public services. The crux of the initiative is to focus on consumers and end users, which is reflecting somehow the citizen-centric government notion, which again is a worldwide reform attempt and initiative nowadays. So the other thing is the idea of re-centralizing service delivery, and this is another trend under what they call the digital era governance ideas. So the idea here is to make government delivering services more efficiently and more effectively using the information communication technologies. And I think so the government of Dubai has already, under the Smart Government Initiative, so they have already achieved a lot in reintegrating services and in creating one platform via which customers and citizens can access different services at the same time. So I think Dubai is providing an excellent model for service delivery and for public administration reform, from which countries all over the world can learn so many lessons. Thank you.